Is there enough to get... This rewrite has been a challenge unlike any I have encountered recently. It's been long, it's been frustrating, but we're here. What started off as a meandering 12,000 word story that had about 8 characters, a few points of view, lots of rambling, and honestly didn't know if it was a short story, a novella, or a full-on epic, is now a 6,000 word tight short story that focuses on 3 people and their struggles to do right in the world. I'm Kendall, it's Thursday, October 14th, and this is Kendall Writes a Story. I've shared the story with a few friends and family for initial feedback, which I'll want before publishing, but I did think that I'd go ahead and share the first scene with you. I'll post the text on the page so that if you want to read, you can, as well as some suggestive AI-generated photos of not real people that can kind of get you in the mood. But you can also just listen if you're more of a podcast type, because I'll be reading it all out loud as well. I'm curious to see what parts stick out to you and what you think in general. Does this sound like a story that you would read? Does it sound like a story you would keep reading? Is there enough to hook you? Thanks as always for any feedback and guidance, and thanks for sticking with me throughout the project. And now, scene 1 of the Conflagration. The Conflagration had burned long before Evan arrived on scene at the hollowed-out shell of a plastics factory. The young inspector's pressed white shirt and dry slacks stuck out amongst the sea of damp blacks and grays as he walked across the lot. To Evan, his department-issued rubber-soled safety shoes betrayed the illusion that he would ever truly be above the muck and grime. He was, after all, a firefighter first, despite the recent promotion and new office. Spread across the lower tailgate of his work truck were the artifacts and records of the morning. Evan cataloged them in his mind as he packed each in his evidence case. Paint tins with debris samples from the ignition point, a digital camera with photographs from the interior and exterior of the fire. He paused as he packed the camera, remembering that he'd have to come back for photos of buildings A and C, which were still being checked for hotspots. He wrote the date and case number, 2017, February 18th, number 13, onto a piece of tamper-proof tape and sealed the paint cans, signing his name over top. Evan returned to the tailgate for the final artifacts, a manila folder with witness statements, a similar with the suspect statement, and that goddamned red folder. He loaded the first 2 folders carefully into his backpack before looking back at the red one. Despite all his wishing, it still hadn't gone away. He looked back at his watch. Maybe he could read it after he gets back to his office, before his meeting. Ugh! He let out an exasperated sigh before shoving the red folder in and snapping the zipper shut behind. "Hey, Hall!" a voice called from behind him. Evan wiped away the bitterness from his mind and the hair from his eyes. "Please don't mention my hair," Evan willed. "Yes, Chief," he said, smiling. "Are you all set for this afternoon?" "Whew. Should be, Chief. She was a doozy of a burner, but the evidence seems pretty cut and dry," Evan said. "What about the suspect statement from this morning? Is he still trying to claim it's some kind of a backdraft?" the chief asked. "Oh yeah, he must have seen the movie too, because he described it pretty well. Black smoke in a small closet, open the door, and poof, fire." "But it's bogus, right? You're sure of that?" "Ironclad. This place is non-smoking up and down. They got their asses handed to them last November after the trash can episode. No way they're making that mistake again." Evan walked his backpack to the side of his truck, tossing it in through the open window and rolling his eyes before turning it back around. "Not to brag, but I think by tonight, the mayor will be a hero for being able to wrap this up so quickly and bring the culprit to justice." Evan turned back around to catch the chief frowning. The older man took a step closer, morphing his face to that of a father figure more so than a boss. "Listen, Evan. The mayor knows what kind of a mess your office was in before you took over. Hell, he won this election on the promise of ousting that knucklehead mayor and his inept cronies. So if you need extra time, take it. You don't have to be a hero on everything." The chief let out a long sigh. "Don't roll your eyes at me. You've only been on the job a month. It's a big job. Are you sure you can do it?" "Yes, Chief. I've got this," he started to say, soaked in his usual confidence, but he stopped himself short, correcting course. "Truly, sir, I'm taking this seriously, and I won't let the department, or you, down." The chief clapped a hand on his back. "Good man. That's all I can ask. Now the hard part. What are you going to do about that shaggy hair? Sitting in the full sidelock next to the barber shop, Evan grimaced. Technically, his hair was past regulation length, but getting a haircut hadn't been a priority this past month. The work was the priority. Saving lives was the priority. He pushed back against the chief, reminding him he still had to change into his uniform before the meeting with the mayor. But then he used the big words. Come into compliance with Policy Hall. That's an order. Lou's shop was convenient, just like the chief had said. Tucked away on 3rd Street, it was a block from Evan's house. Lou considers himself a detective of sorts, Evan recalled the chief saying. Hopefully that was less true. Evan looked at his watch again. With luck, he could still squeeze this in with time to read the red folder before his meeting. But he wasn't settled. Screw it. Maybe they'll let me jump the line. He grabbed his backpack as he hopped out, slamming the truck door behind him. Okay, that's the opening bit, so that's basically gets Evan to the barbershop, and that's where all the action happens. So yeah, I'm curious, what do you think is happening here? Again, is this a story that is interesting to you? Are you bought in enough that you're curious to see what's going to happen? I might need to build the hook more, so definitely let me know if you're sitting there wondering, I don't know what this is about. And if that's the case, that's okay, just let me know. Yeah, so anyway, well, thanks for listening. I hope you did enjoy it, and have a great day. I'll have a new video out soon with the rest of the story. All right.